over town. Now just a minute, brother, I ain't talking mum's the word. I ain't talking, but tell me, honey, ain't you heard? Ooh, I got a fractured cardiac. So tell me, why should I just yak, 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 yak? Me, I ain't talking Silent Sam. I ain't talking like a clam. My big affair has just gone bust, and keeping quiet is a must. You know you took me for that sleigh ride. Was I the one to go? Broke down like a landslide. I was allergic, to snow. I ain't talking, can't you guess? My big romance is a mess. Feel like a broken-hearted clown. Right now, I'm the silent type, still water style. It shouldn't happen to Mrs. Bailey's child. I ain't talking, man, it's all over town.
Stay, little Valentine. the trees, pleasing to live and to please. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me a bed. I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze. Breezing along with a breeze, trailing the rails as I please, roaming the beautiful seas. Like the birdies that sing in the trees, pleasing and living to please, living a life of ease. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me a bed. Oh, I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze. Breezing along. Ooh, with the breeze.
Just found joy, I'm as happy as a baby boy when he's playing with his choo-choo toy. When I'm with my sweet Lorraine, she's got a pair of eyes that are bluer than the summer sky. When you see them you will realize why I love Lorraine. When it's raining I don't miss the sun, 'cause it's in my sweetie's smile. Just to think that I'm the lucky one who will lead her down the aisle. Each night how I pray that nobody steals her heart away. I can't wait until that lucky day.
Welcome everyone to this chapel as you gather to acknowledge and remember Les's life and say your farewells to him. My name is Keith Newell and it's my privilege to be the celebrant for this occasion today. You're all here today because you all knew Les and you and he played a part in the rich tapestry of each other's lives. But you're also here though to support Kay and Carol and Tony and their families and each other as you all grieve the loss of Les from your lives. Now, as happens at times like this, there are many who can't be here in person, but technology allows some of them to join us by live stream, and I'd like to acknowledge their virtual presence with us. So welcome to the following family and friends: Pip in Auckland and Lexi Clare in London, Lou Esker in Timaru with Sandy, Alison, Heather and Cheryl, Alan and Ali, Karen and Mark in Australia, and friends and neighbours in Nelson. And there may be others watching from around New Zealand and the world, so just so that they know that you know they're there, you might like to give a wave to the camera up there. Just if they just over in the corner there, I think is the one. Yeah. And that just makes them feel they're part of it and they're not just clicking into Netflix or some other platform. So welcome everyone and thank you for being with us today. Now, as you know, Les died on the 1st of April. His cremation took place shortly afterwards, and we have his ashes here with us today. And the purpose of this memorial gathering is, of course, to allow you to say your farewells. There will be opportunities for people in Les's other communities in Nelson and Timaru to say their farewells next month, and those functions will be advertised locally. But while we're together today, we're going to hear from some of those who knew and loved Les best, as they share memories of a highly respected and much loved father, grandfather, family member and friend. Now, after the family tributes, there may be some time for any of you to share a memory of Les, so you might like to give some thought as to what you'd like to say if you'd like to participate in that. We'll see some photos of Les's life, and at the end of this service, the family will place petals on or around the casket as they leave to go to the refreshments. And you're welcome to do the same, or you might like to come back in here and place petals if you'd like to spend a few quiet moments with Les during the refreshments. Now, before we go on, let's get the housekeeping out of the way and let's have a wee pep talk about cell phones. So I know they're hard to be without, but just for a short time, I wonder if you'd mind either checking to make sure it's either turned off or on silent or airplane mode, whatever happens, to keep it from ringing during the ceremony. And I think we'll set a fee of, $20 payable to a charity of the family's choice for any phone that does go off. In the unlikely event of a fire, please make your way calmly to the exit and gather in the car park at a safe distance. And if we experience an earthquake, best to take cover inside here until the shaking stops and then exit to the car park. And out on the table just at the entrance there are some pages for you to sign, so if you haven't already done so, if you wouldn't mind popping your name on there, and that's a record for the family of your attendance today. So let's get on with what we're here for, to remember Les and to support his family. I spent some time with Carolyn Kay last Monday and heard a lot about this amazing man. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about Les except for what you're about to hear shortly when I have the privilege of presenting on behalf of the family the eulogy which has been prepared by them. And then it's much better for you to hear the rest from those who knew him best. So without further ado, let me tell you Les's life story. Les was born to Harold and Alice McElwee in Timaru on the 23rd of May 1938. He grew up on the family farm in Blue Cliffs with his older siblings, brother Ned and sisters Gwen, Lou and Ruby. Les attended Blue Cliffs School, riding his pony there and back, although he did like the occasional day off, as confirmed by his own diary entries where he jotted down, "Did not go to school." Although he wasn't keen on being there, school did give Les a real love for reading, and that lasted his whole life. To help pass his school days, he also helped the teacher with the younger primers until he was able to leave for good at the age of 15. Even from an early age, Les loved to tinker in the shed and at one point attached a motor to his pedal bike. When he was 12, he acquired a contract with the local council cutting cocksfoot grass from the side of the nearby roads. Les used his pedal bike with the motor to speed up the cutting process and enlisted help from his family to gather the grass for baling. He worked on the family farm at Blue Cliffs as well as other farms in the district until 1958, when aged 20 he became a rabbiter with the district rabbit board. Les had dogs from an early age. When he was 4 years old, he owned his first dog, Spot. He had multiple dogs throughout his youth and later on when he worked as a rabbiter. He also had pet guinea pigs, cats, and a pig he managed to obtain from his sister Lou's work in Culverden. Les's love and enjoyment of animals, and in particular dogs, continued right throughout his life. Nothing was better than going for a walk and meeting and patting a dog. In his Ruby Bay community, Les was known for his dog sitting. In 1959, Les and his mate, Nugent Wood, took a break from work and went on a driving tour around New Zealand, working where they could to earn money to fund the next stage of their trip. Les wrote frequently to his mother during the trip, giving her the highlights of where they'd been, including working in the Nelson area, which is where he would eventually end up moving to. In 1960, while attending a local dance, A young blue-eyed trainee nurse called Nancy Saunders took his interest. Les and Nancy went on to marry on the 15th of July 1961, and the following year their first daughter Kay was born. Working as a married couple on local farms was hard on the young family, so this prompted a move into Timaru, where they bought a house in Archer Street. Within a few years, Les and Nancy's family had grown with the arrival of their second daughter Carol and son Tony. Les was never one to shy away from hard work, so to support the family, he delivered milk and also drove a truck delivering soft drink and beer around the wider district, including out to Pleasant Point. He also was a caretaker for 21 hours a week at Waimataitai School and drove a bus route in Timaru. He made many good friends during this time, including people on the bus route who would even cook dinner for him when he was on the evening run. He'd just shut the doors of the bus, pop into the house, eat his dinner, and be off again for the return trip back into town. In 1966, Les and Nancy decided to move up to Nelson and purchased a milk run lease. Les bought a Bedford truck, maintaining the engine himself. Customers around the streets of Richmond would curse if he fixed the milk truck's squeaky brakes, because they relied on the familiar noise as a reminder to quickly put out their milk bottles. Thanks to his strict diary keeping, we know that it was on the 15th of August 1972 when Les decided to act on a long-held ambition to learn to fly. He originally kept the lessons quiet until Nancy found out and decided she'd join him in learning to fly. Both Les and Nancy obtained their private pilot's licenses and toured around the country competing in air rallies. And Les's specialty was bombing, where he would throw a sandbag out the plane's window and hit a target below, often winning this particular event. Les was a very hands-on and loving father to his 3 children, participating in their interests in day-to-day life. He took the kids camping in the Marlborough Sounds, teaching them life skills with a calm nature and patience. He built a small boat, Skippy, without any plans for 5-year-old Tony. He attended school concerts, encouraged music lessons, made breakfast every morning and school lunches, and all of this on top of his regular work. Les was a great storyteller, and his kids grew up with a good understanding of where the family came from and what their dad's younger years were like. Les would take the family on holidays around the South and North Islands, and in 1977 he took the family for a month's holiday in Australia. This led to a lifelong interest in touring around the entire Australian continent with daughter Carol, and in later years Les jumped at any chance to help and spend time with his farming friends Mark and Catherine and Matt in Townsville. Les was the type of person who always made time to help anyone and everyone wherever he was needed. As you can probably tell by now, Les was not one to sit still, and he always had a garden on the go. He would compete with Nancy's sister Betty on who could grow the best tomatoes, and this competition is ongoing, but with the next generation down. In 1976, Les decided to take a 5-year lease of 23 acres alongside Nelson Airport to grow lucerne hay. He encouraged the kids to work on the lucerne and milk run to earn pocket money. Driving tractors and milk trucks, the kids learnt some skills well before their peers did. In June of 1976, Les decided that building his own plane would be a good thing to do, so he bought some Jodel plans and materials. The garage was taken up with wingspans and a fuselage and was a true labour of love. A proud Les flew his Jodel LAN around Nelson for many years, taking anyone who was interested, or I guess would dare, for a ride. By the early 1980s, milk was becoming more available in supermarkets, and with an increasing need to work in a warmer environment, Les studied to become a kiln operator at Pagent's timber mill in Eves Valley. He worked there until his well-deserved retirement in June 2003. In 1986, with the 3 kids either out working or at university, Les and Nancy decided to move from Richmond out to a house right on the water's edge in Ruby Bay. Many happy memories were made at Ruby Bay with the kids and grandkids, Leslie, Penny, Michael, Lexi and Tim, all enjoying long summer holidays at the beach with Nanny and Granddad. Les really enjoyed spending time with his family. There were frequent holiday visits to the kids in Wellington, Auckland and Canberra, and he was always keen to support the grandkids, whether it was watching representative cricket matches around the North Island, visiting for birthdays, road tripping with them, hosting them during uni holidays when they worked on local orchards, or being home base for his eldest granddaughter's wedding, where of course he provided home brew for the refreshments. Les also enjoyed spending time with his and Nancy's own siblings and their families. They'd head down south whenever they could. Les would go boating with his brother-in-law Harry and Nelson, and there were fishing trips in the Marlborough Sounds with Nancy's sister Betty and her family. Niece Karen particularly enjoyed saxophone sessions with Les and benefited from his tree trimming skills when he visited her in Brisbane. He was an adored brother and uncle. Les, of course, could not retire into an idle life and embraced a full retirement at Ruby Bay. He joined the bowling club first as a player, then taking over the duties of greenkeeper, spending many hours tending the green. He and Nancy could be seen beside the creeks with their whitebait nets or out at picnic and walking tracks nearby. He was loved as a neighbour of Fran and Grant, Phil, Moira, Patsy and John, as well as others. No one could visit Les in Ruby Bay without him offering them a beer, and he became famous, or infamous, depending on your taste, for his home brew. Les also helped many neighbours out with wood splitting and delivering wood for winter. He built planter boxes, gardened, trimmed trees, and walked dogs along the beach. He was a self-taught musician and enjoyed playing his clarinet and a variety of saxophones. A member of the Savage Club, he also played in a small jazz group and was always keen on outings to the Honest Lawyer pub with anyone else who enjoyed listening to jazz. After Nancy passed away in 2009, Les bought a block of land in Little Wanganui on the west coast and towed a caravan down there, which allowed him to spend long weekends whitebaiting and embracing the laid-back culture of the hamlet. When the devastating diagnosis of dementia took away his ability to drive, Les could be seen biking down to Mapua with his wild white hair poking out from underneath his bike helmet. Heartbreakingly, there came a point in his illness when Les was no longer able to live alone. So he moved closer to daughter Kay, most of his grandkids, and all his great-grandkids, Connor, Cooper, Rosie, Nina, Ava, Bess and Mason, who I guess are all here today. Since 2022, Les was cared for with love and tenderness at the Kapiti rest home on the beachfront at Paraparaumu Beach. His sense of fun, keenness to help out, and his ability to dance won over both staff, visitors, and other residents. Les's impact on all who knew him was immeasurable. He lived a full and happy life and touched many hearts. Les was a much-loved son, brother, husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, and will always be missed. So now let's hear from family members as they share their memories. So can I ask those who are speaking to please come up in the order shown on the service sheet and introduce yourselves. We're going to start with Kay, and we're going to end this session with a recorded message from Lexi Clare.
With Dad gone, I have so many big feelings and I couldn't find the words to express what Dad meant to me or the hole he will leave in my life. So I just wrote a wee letter. Dear Dad, I miss you. I miss your cheekiness. I miss your chats. I miss sharing life with you, petting dogs, walking, gardening, having coffees. I miss your love of the family. I miss you thinking I can do it. I miss your stories. I miss you, my hero. I love Kay.
When I think of Dad, I see him with a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye. I see him walking along, hands in his pocket, whistling a tune. I see him as a supportive father who loved a joke. I see him teaching me skills that have lasted all through my life. I see him walking along the many tracks we hiked together, both walking at ease at each other's pace. I see him sitting beside me in his great green Holden station wagon travelling the length of Australia. I see a smile as he spots the emu. I see him willing, helping friends and neighbours, dropping whatever he was doing without thought. I see him dancing and playing with his music with joy. But most of all, I feel his love that he gave unconditionally. I'm beyond proud to be his daughter.
Growing up, I assumed my dad was like other dads, and it took a while to understand that my friends' dads didn't do some of the stuff that I took for granted. Apparently, they didn't do a good share of the household cooking, cleaning, and spending time with the children. None of them had a giant basement garage under the house with the amount of treasure we had. Parts of a combined harvester, spare motors for milk trucks, an aeroplane under construction, a woodworking area separate from the metalwork zone. So many tools, welders, spray painting equipment, chainsaws, concrete mixer, and a pool table, which was convertible for table tennis, guns, bikes, cars, and working trucks. Dad also worked evenings or early mornings, depending on the time of the year, on the milk run. And he didn't have many weekends off, but he was always there for us. As children, we were welcome to spend time with Dad as he built or repaired things. And he encouraged us to take on our own projects. We learnt a lot about how things work and how to problem solve. Valuable life lessons. And watching Dad learn to fly, and we spent many hours at the Nelson Club, was great. I also developed a passion for flying, but it also showed us what you could achieve if you wanted it enough and committed to it. He took me on many flying trips, and I treasured those memories. I've only recently remembered that Dad and I went through a period of buying low-cost cars, cleaning, repairing and painting them, reselling them, and splitting the profits. We did so many things together that I just assumed were normal. Our dad was not the same as others, and I miss him.
So I'm Michael. So I'd like to share a few things and memories about Grandad that made him special to me. So us kids, we idolised Grandad growing up, and lucky for us, we spent a lot of time on holiday in Ruby Bay. Looking back, our holidays definitely wouldn't have been a holiday for Grandad. We followed him around constantly, vying for his attention. And I'm not sure that Grandad actually had industrial deafness, or if it was the constant squawks of "Grandad, Grandad, Grandad" that made his ears give up. Grandad was so patient with us and would include us in whatever he was doing. I have so many lovely memories of doing things with Grandad. He would take us out in the dinghy to set the net in front of the house, down to the estuary to explore Tiger Island, go fishing with us off the wharf, or even just whatever jobs he had to do around the house, fixing the water pump, watering the strawberries or tomatoes, or fixing up whatever motor he had lying about. He allowed us to push the boundaries a little too, and I'm not sure Nanny always approved, like letting us have a homebrew beer when we were still in primary school, or driving up and down Broadsea Ave in the little red Suzuki truck with him on the back controlling the accelerator. Grandad also made sure to play to our interests as well. He would play cricket with us, spend time using his lathe to make us cricket bats, wickets and bails to play cricket with us, play table tennis downstairs, and play cricket with us. Holidays with Grandad has definitely shaped how I holiday and what I like to do to relax. And as I got older, the joy of spending time with Grandad didn't diminish. A few favourite memories include driving down to Dunedin along with Penny to drop me off in my hall in the first year of uni, staying with Grandad while working in Motueka on kiwi fruit orchards, we would head down to the bowls club and go to the pub to listen to jazz music. And his visit to Southland to stay with us and come duck shooting on Louise's family farm. Grandad was also generous to a fault. He was always chopping firewood for someone or going around and helping out at some lady's place. I was trying to remember their names, but I think there was a Mrs. Cheese Scones and a Mrs. Roast. His generosity was tested one day when he took me out in Motueka on the boat for some scallop dredging. He had a secret spot and a few marker points, one of which was the Tallies factory and another some trees up on the hill. The trouble was he couldn't quite remember what trees to line up on the hill. So we were going up and down with the little scallop dredge behind the outboard. And on the last run, we were starting to get a little bit nervous about the amount of fuel left, and we got one singular scallop. Grandad looked at it, looked at me, looked back at the scallop, and then did what he always did, try and look after us, and he offered it to me. I said, "No worries, Grandad, you have it." And I'll never forget the look of pure bliss on his face as he gobbled it down. He definitely didn't need telling twice. Grandad had a wicked sense of humour and would always have a joke or a quip prepared. And he was always teaching me things, such as Murphy's Law, or the other law that states carrot and cabbage go well with mayonnaise, Cole's Law. I remember he got me my own joke book when I was little, and as I got older, he would also send me his jokes via text, some of which shouldn't be repeated. A classic one, did you hear about the car made of wood? It had wood wheels, wood windows, and a wood engine. It wouldn't go. But I'm not sure I've inherited his comedic timing. We've certainly missed the active get out and do it Grandad over the past few years, but we'd still see the glint in his eye and get his quips, some which would catch us off guard and take us a while to get the joke. We are grateful that Grandad has been close by and Mum has spent a lot of time driving up and down to see him, pick him up and take him out and about, which has meant that he has still been a part of our lives. We will always be thinking about him, whether it's the first person to swim in summer, the first tomatoes, or even walking in the supermarket and seeing a tin of Cooper's Lager.
My granddad started teaching me to drive when I was 13. I like to tell people. In an old red truck, my legs still not quite long enough to reach the clutch, and not much idea about what all the pedals and sticks were actually meant to do. Growing up, I knew that visiting Ruby Bay to see Nanny and Grandad always meant adventure. Some of the things I remember most vividly are the sound of the car crunching up the driveway and the metallic complaints of the garage door sliding into place. The sounds of Grandad tinkering in his shed, the drones and roars of drills and saws and mystery machines that I occasionally got to peek in and see. The salt and crunch of thick ham on toast, the classic Christmas holiday breakfast. The salt and crash of the waves as we played and swam in the swell, picking my way along the beach in search of the perfect shell or the smoothest marble stone to take home. I remember the burn of my skin in the hot summer sun, despite the many layers of sunscreen that I had on. The burn in my arms, trying to row a tiny boat against the tide. The burn of my feet as we dashed back from the beach and up the steps, and the stab of the grass, hopping from foot to foot, picking prickles from my soles. I remember the red of the tomatoes that Grandad grew, the red of the strawberries too, and the view from the sea wall of the biggest expanse of blue. I remember sitting with Nanny as she watched the tennis, glued to the TV. I remember Grandad treating us to a tune, sheet music and instruments strewn about the living room, harmonicas and saxophones, and I think a clarinet too. I remember how much Grandad loved animals, always throwing crumbs to a hungry sparrow, always stopping to say hello to a stranger's dog. I remember how much he loved bowls and dancing and homebrew and strolls along the beach. When I think about visiting Grandad, I remember wallpaper that defies description. And I also remember the walls being lined with photographs, a tantalising glimpse into times before I was born, before Grandad was a granddad, before he was even my dad's dad. Like many grandchildren, I suspect, there is so much about Grandad's life that I never knew. When you are young, it can be hard to see a grandparent as someone with their own rich history, with years of experiences that have absolutely nothing to do with you. But what I do know is that he was a great granddad. When I think about Grandad Les, there are two main associations that come to mind: adventure and determination. And I believe that what has been passed down from Les to my dad to me are those two qualities. Ones that drive me to seek out new challenges and to persevere despite the odds. My granddad started teaching me to drive when I was 13, and my dad continued, picking up where he left off.
There's some really nice tributes there. So now it's your turn. We have a short period when I'd like to encourage any of you to come forward and share a brief memory of Les. Can I ask that you keep them as brief as possible so we can hear from as many as possible? There's not too many people here, so we can spend a wee bit of time on this. And please bear with me if I have to call a halt to this part of the proceedings. So I know it's hard to be first, but I'll give you about 30 seconds for the first one to move up here. And I do encourage you to do this because there's nothing worse than afterwards thinking, oh, I wish I'd spoken, wish I'd got up and said something. So please step back and you're welcome to.
Hi, I'm Heather from Kapiti Rest Home. So we were privileged to look after Les and he had such a lovely family who supported him so well. He had lots of adventures from our rest home, many times chasing him. Michael bring him back from golf at the golf club, I think, or well, someone, I'm not sure if it was Michael, chasing him around to the airport where he loved to admire all the aeroplanes. He was very determined in lots of ways, right up to the end, really. He was always cheeky and smiling, dancing with the others at the rest home. Was just a pleasure to look after him. So thank you.
Yeah, hi. I've got a few memories of Les. I only knew him a few years before he was ill, but he always reminded me of something out of a Barry Crump book. Every pub, there was Les. Every garage you see in the Barry Crump book with spanners and bits of metal and things flying out the garage, and then some magnificent machine comes chugging out, all described really well by Barry Crump, unfortunately, not myself. And all the things that were said about Les was, yeah, so true. You know, he was just such a... He was an amazingly clever guy. Certainly impressed me with many things. Some of the amazing inventions that I saw in his garage when we was clearing out with Tony. This magnificent bicycle with a motorbike, a lawnmower engine on it. You couldn't dream about it. It was just an amazing, what's the word I'm going to put? Clever guy. And I think one of the funniest last memories I can think of, Les, he was always coming round, he was always mowing our lawn. And Kay put him out the front on the burn, and I live on the top of a hill, and I could hear the lawnmower pounding away, and I just happened to walk out, and the lawn in the burn outside the front was about this long, the grass was, and there was a straight line through the middle where the mower had gone through it. And the burn next door, and the one next door, and the one next door. And I could just see this little white head going off down the hill. And I shouted out for Kay, and we ran down there and rescued. And we ended up having to mow all the burns on the way back. But it was just so, it was typical Les. It was just, as I say, just like something out of Barry Crump book. Yeah, and I will miss him. He was a lot of fun all the time. Always trying to do something, wasn't he? Anyway, that's my thoughts of Les mowing this little white head vanishing off down the road.
Well, thank you for that. Those tributes are all really good, and it's not easy getting up in front of a crowd, even a friendly one like this, especially if it's off the cuff. So let's have a look now at those photos of Les's life. Well, there's some lovely memories there for you all, and despite the fact that photos can't do justice to being there, they are our window and our reminder of good times. When someone we know and love dies, there's a period of unreality as we come to terms with the death, whether it's been expected or unexpected. And when we do encounter the reality of death, we find that our grief has many faces to it. We get emotional over our loss, but we'll also want to laugh as we enjoy a particular memory. And there'll be memories that we want to keep and others that need to be laid to rest. And there's always the acknowledgement that for all of us, there's a time to be born, a time to die, and a time for us to grieve. And grief is different for everyone, and it often comes over us at the most inconvenient times. But come over us it does, and it's best just to let it do so. These words about grief are attributed to Queen Elizabeth I, and they are as appropriate today as they were when she said them. Grief never ends, but it changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness nor a lack of faith. It is the price of love. There's a space and time now where Les used to be. Life will eventually fill that space because that's just what happens. But over the next days, weeks, months and beyond, I urge you all to just keep in touch with each other. Keep close and keep talking about Les. Call in for a cup of tea or coffee or some home brew maybe. Make the phone call, write the email or even a card or a letter. Just keep in touch and somehow keep sharing those memories and talking about Les, because that's how he'll stay with you. My hope is that today has helped you all, but especially Les's family, to come to terms with his death and his absence from your lives. We're close to the end of our time together, and we've talked a lot about this great man, and there'll be more talk about him for as long as you all have breath in your bodies. You who knew Les, who loved and respected him, have the memories of his words, deeds and character stored deep in your hearts and minds, and that's where they'll remain forever. I'd like to invite Penny and Leslie to share a poem with us.
Granddad kept a garden. Our granddad kept a garden of the heart. He planted all the good things that gave our lives their start. He turned us to the sunshine and encouraged us to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem.
And then the winds and rain came. He protected us enough, but not too much because he knew we would stand up strong and tough. His constant good example always taught us right from wrong, markers for our pathway that will last a lifetime long. We are our granddad's garden, we are his legacy.
Would you please stand? Les, we've acknowledged and celebrated your life here today. That earthly life has come to an end. Your family and friends will miss your love, your friendship, and your generosity of spirit. Everything you have done is still done. Everyone you have loved is still loved. Everything learnt from you is still learnt. You leave those closest to you with the strength and pride to do what is good and right, and your memory will guide them just as you did when you were at their side. Your love, humour, friendship and character are committed to the hearts of those left behind. Thank you for the legacy you've left in your children, your grandchildren, and in future generations. Thank you for all that you've been and all that you have given. Go now, Les, and rest in peace. And now for us, the living, it's time to leave. So take comfort from each other, shed tears and share your grief, laugh together and share your memories, because that's how Les will stay alive in your hearts. And thinking of Les, go from this gathering with strength and courage. Go in peace.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I love to climb a mountain and to reach the highest peak, but it doesn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I love to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but I don't enjoy it half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Dance with me, I want my arm about you. The charm about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain.